Hello, everyone. It's Darlene. Um, I'm trying to make sure that I'm sorry for the lighting today. Let's see if I can make it a little bit better. Looks kind of foggy. Just wanted to come to you with my first episode in the series of your first year. And this is going to be a pediatric topic covering things that are important to new moms and also moms who are starting all over. Maybe you've had several years between having babies. So hopefully, the information that I cover will be important enough that you'll feel like sharing it, and that you'll learn something new. So today's topic is going to be on bonding, and um, we all know that bonding is very, very important. It sets the foundation not only between the mother and the child, but also between the child and future relationships. So I broke this session down into different um, sections, and the first section I want to talk about bonding and how, in most situations, bonding is natural. Okay, so what does bonding entail? And there's different things that lead to bonding. Of course, when it comes to a mom and a baby, just think about what happens when that mom sees her baby for the first time. She makes eye contact with that baby. And yes, although the newborn's vision is not clear like the vision that we have as older children and adults, but this child can still see its mom, okay? It knows its mom. It knows the scent of the mom. It knows the voice of the mom. It's heard it even inside the mom's womb or uterus, whatever way you want to refer to it. So, eye contact is very important in bonding, okay? The second thing, and I'm looking down or looking to the side at my list because I want to make sure I don't miss things that I want to talk about. The second thing that's a natural process in bonding would be smiling. We know how contagious a smile can be. Well, the same thing with the mom and the baby. The smile has so much warmth attached to it. Um, and there's a big difference when you see someone smiling at you or someone frowning or looking angry at you. And the baby can distinguish this. So, smiling is very important in bonding. The third thing is touch. Um, you know that someone cares about you when they touch you, and it's the way they touch you. And if you've ever looked at a new mom and a brand new baby, first time that she's laid her eyes on her baby, and the way she caresses the baby, whether it's the baby's face or the arms, or the fingers or the toes, there is such a unique thing with that touch. Okay, so one way that bonding can be through touch is just natural touch. But in times when the baby needs to be consoled, massaging the baby. And I think I'll do a separate um, episode on baby massages, but massaging a baby is a wonderful way to promote bonding. Okay, the next or the fourth way would be talking or singing to your baby. Um, a lot of people talk to their babies when they're inside of them. And that's why, the baby becomes very familiar with the voice. There's something comfortable about a voice that's not shrilling, not yelling at you, but just quiet, calm, talking to the baby, or singing like in lullabies. Your baby can feel your love through your talk, through your through your speech, through your the sound of your voice. Um, Five, I hope I'm not getting this out of order. Five would be, and it's on the same line as touching, would be nursing your baby, breastfeeding your baby being nourished from suckling at the breast. There are important things that occur during nursing, and I'll talk about that a little bit more later in the same episode. And so the next thing would be any way that you respond to your baby's needs. Okay. If your baby's crying because, they're cold, or they're crying because, it's too bright in the room, or it's too loud in the room, whatever way that you remove your child from any kind of noxious stimuli, or any painful stimuli. Um, and, responding when you have a baby that's wet or soiled, um, that baby realizes that when they demonstrate they have a need by crying or whatever, and you respond to it, that builds the bond between you and your baby. Okay, so the next section I want to talk about um, is a little bit more about touch, is specifically kangaroo care. Some of you may know that term. Um, and if you can picture a kangaroo and its little baby, how it keeps it in the pouch, okay? Well, even as humans, when we have skin to skin contact with our offspring, um, this promotes bonding. So, you know, uh, it's definitely something that you'll see a lot, like in neonatal intensive care units where babies are born early or they're born sick. Ways to promote bonding is to allow the mother or even the father, if the mother is unable to do so, you allow the baby to be placed right next to the skin, on the chest of that figure, whether it's the mother or the father, and it's amazing the calming effect of kangaroo care, and it's a beautiful picture. Um, Touch is really important. My next section is briefly going to cover breastfeeding. And this is not to bring shame to those who do not breastfeed. Please hear me. Yes, breastfeeding is beautiful. And it is a wonderful way to establish good bonding between the child and the mother. It is a natural process, but there are sometimes things that interfere with this process. And it can be stress in the mother. If she's being, you know, she's being pressured by folks to breastfeed, anything that can add stress to a mother's life, the stress of having a baby, the lack of sleep, um, can make breastfeeding not as easy. Okay, the best way to get a good start on breastfeeding is to start as soon as possible. And when I say that, I mean even after the baby is born, if the baby is allowed to go to the breast, okay, it is a wonderful way to start the bonding process. Okay, so stress can interfere with breastfeeding. Any kind of illness in the mother or in the child, such as if a baby's born early and unable to suckle at the breast because their sucking reflex is not developed yet. or say the baby is just really acutely ill, and has a problem that they don't need to feed. They need to be without anything by mouth, and so they get nutrition in other ways. If the mother is sick and she is on medication after delivering the baby or while she's in the labor process, then breastfeeding might not be the best thing for the mother or the child. Other things that can affect breastfeeding, and it's important to mention at this time, is any surgeries on the breast. Okay. Let's say a mom had breast cancer, and so she's had some surgeries that can affect how she breastfeeds. A mother that has breast augmentation, whether it is to reduce the size of the breast or to increase the size of the breast, it is important to remember in these situations, breastfeeding may not be effective. Okay. And if you think about the breast and the anatomy of the breast is made up of lots of little glands that empty into ducts and then empty into the nipple of the breast. So anything that disrupts the continuity of where the breast milk is made to where it's expressed out of the nipple, this can affect the flow of breast milk. Okay, so it is important. There have been situations where moms had tried to breastfeed, and they've had like breast reduction, and yes, they're making some milk, but they're not making adequate amount of milk. So be attentive to how your baby is responding to breastfeeding. If they breastfeed and they're screaming their heads off afterwards, um, or you see that they're not gaining weight like they should, this may be an indication that something is going wrong. It doesn't mean that necessarily that you cannot breastfeed, but it means that you need to have someone look into it further, to determine, are there things that you can do to make breastfeeding by itself adequate, or are there things that you can do to supplement breastfeeding? Okay. There are some situations where breastfeeding is not ideal. Okay. And this can be in different infectious um, conditions. Okay. Um, if there's drug use, um, in the mother, this can affect the child. Remember, whatever mom takes into her body can be expressed to the baby. Okay, so it's important that the whole environment of breastfeeding is as um, pure and intact and um, not contaminated in any way. Okay. My next topic is to talk about what kind of factors affect bonding. Okay. Now, bonding should occur. It takes various amount of time. Okay. Bonding can occur within the first few days, to the first few weeks, to the first few months. Okay. Um, And so just remember, if like there's an acute illness that separates the mother and the child initially, bonding still can occur. It may require more work, but it can occur. And there's nothing like love, because love everyone feels, and love is important for bonding. Okay. So, factors that affect bonding, again, illness of the mother, illness of the child. Also, something that we should not forget is postpartum depression. Okay. You don't hear a lot of people talk about it. It's real, and it's concerning, and anyone can be affected by postpartum depression. It does not matter how you feel like your life was prior to delivering a baby. Okay. Anything can affect this, can cause postpartum depression. Okay. It is important if the mom is suffering from postpartum depression that she receives help. The total health of the mom is important. Okay. Treating postpartum depression is important. Um, you can look in history and you can see the devastating effects of not treating postpartum depression. Um, and it is important. If mom is not aware that she's experiencing it, if other family members are noticing it, please help mom get help. My next part I want to talk about, as far as what can affect bonding, is the history of any type of abuse in the mom, okay? And sometimes even in the father, okay? Abuse, whether it's, and I'm going to look at my list, whether it's physical or sexual or verbal slash emotional or mental slash psychological or financial slash economical or even cultural slash identity. Any type of abuse can affect the bonding process between a mother and a child or a father and a child. And it is important, just like when two people go in a relationship and they're thinking about getting married, um, that they try to find healing prior to the marriage. Okay. It's okay to have therapy and stuff throughout the marriage, but the healing process does not start when the marriage occurs. The same thing with um, starting a family. Um, Dealing with abuse should begin prior to bringing a baby in the world, but it's not too late once a baby comes. It is important to seek healing. Um, my last thing that I want to talk about that affects bonding, excuse me, is fatigue. If you are tired, and believe me, when you have a baby, you're going to be tired. If you've never had a job before that required long hours, having a baby requires long hours, okay? That baby is not on your schedule. You are on that baby schedule, okay? And, you'll be feeding your baby anywhere from hourly if you're nursing, but don't let that stop you from nursing, okay? Because nursing, breastfeeding is wonderful, okay? And that is only initially that you have to breastfeed pretty frequently, okay? That spreads out over time. Or whether you're bottle feeding and you're feeding every 3 hours, okay? You will be sleep deprived, okay? You need to try to rest when the baby is resting. Okay. This is your excuse to sleep during the day. Okay. It is important to take care of yourself. You need to rest. All right. I hope this information has helped you. Please forgive the graininess of the video today. I guess I'm going to have to start doing them in early in the day like I usually do because this looks very grainy, but forgive it. If you have enjoyed this information or you think it will be helpful, do me a favor, give it a thumbs up. Second, leave a comment. I will respond to your comments. And third, if you're really interested in topics like these, please subscribe to my station. Okay. Um, The channel is called The Only Thing Greater. All right. Have a great day. Thank you.